everybody, my name is Melissa and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the series that I need to finish. I came up with this list because I was looking through all of my books and I was looking at the series that have actually been completed by the authors, but I just haven't finished reading them. So I've read like maybe 1 or 2 books out of the entire series and I just need to get them finished because I really enjoyed the first couple books but just didn't finish it. So basically I love being able to say I completed a series, but honestly the majority of the time I get kind of nervous to finish because I just don't know how it's going to end, if it's going to end badly, or if I'm just not going to like it, or maybe I just love the world so much that I just don't want to leave it. So these are a couple of the series that I need to finish. So the first series I want to talk about is one by Helena Hunt. I picked up Pucked by her and I absolutely fell in love with it. I thought Violet was so hilarious and just really had a great personality, and I really enjoyed the world and the hockey and everything that was going on in this series. This is a new adult sports romance series which has a ton of hilarious one-liners and different things going on throughout the entire book. But yeah, I really need to continue on because I believe the whole series is on Kindle Unlimited, and since I am a KU subscriber, it's definitely worth my time to pick these up and continue on. The last romance series I'm going to talk about is one by Elle Kennedy, and that is the Off-Campus series. So each of these are hockey romances. Apparently I just don't finish hockey romance series, but I read The Deal last year, really enjoyed it because I ended up picking up all 3 of the old covers from this series at Half Price Books, and they actually are signed, or they have the book plates in them. I really enjoyed The Deal so much, and I just heard that the rest of the series is just as great. But yeah, these covers, I mean, let's be real. So I'm very excited. I need to finish this. I have a couple readathons coming up in the next couple months, so maybe I'll pick this up very soon. So in my video of books that I need to read in 2020, I definitely mentioned Sword of Destiny by Andrzej Sapkowski. I read The Last Wish sometime at the beginning of last year. I told myself I was going to read this book last February. It is a whole year later. We are almost kind of near the end of February when I'm filming this, and yeah, I still haven't read this book. So I think it has to do with the first 2 books are short stories and they kind of go out of sequence, so it's kind of confusing, and the writing style is translated from, I believe, Polish, so it's just kind of jilted and confusing. But I heard that the series gets really good and it's obviously turned into a whole Netflix show, which I've seen it all, I binged it all, and I'm very excited, and I just want to be a part of the Witcher lover, you know, fandom, because yeah, I really did enjoy, you know, the first book to a certain extent, and I just want to continue on. Another adult fantasy series that I need to continue is The Wheel of Time. This is an extremely popular Finnish series by Robert Jordan and like has a huge fan base, and I picked up The Eye of the World, I believe like springtime of last year. I annotated it. I wanted to do a whole book talk on it, just never did. And after I finished this, I immediately purchased The Great Hunt and I got the audiobook. I ended up starting it, I believe, fall of last year. Obviously I did not complete it, and I'm just kind of really bummed because I do want to see what all this hype is about. The first book, The Eye of the World, is just extremely kind of like, I don't want to say a rip-off of Lord of the Rings, but it's very, very close. And a lot of the same themes and very different tropes are, you know, parallel to it. But Robert Jordan said that he did mimic the story very closely, and you can definitely tell. I believe later on in the series, it kind of becomes its own thing and the world just gets bigger and bigger, and I'm excited to kind of see why these books are so extremely loved and has such a strong fan base. And obviously Brandon Sanderson, one of my absolute favorite authors in the fantasy genre, finished up, I believe, the last couple of books, so I definitely want to finish this. One of my favorite modern fantasy series definitely has to be the Lightbringer series by Brent. I read the first 2, absolutely adored it. It seems to be I'm reading 1 a year, which, I mean, if I should have just picked it up when the release happened, but I finished the first 2 books, absolutely enjoyed the second one as well, and I have started the 3rd book, if you can't tell, and I do own the 4th, and the 5th book ended up coming out October October of last year, and I just need to finish this. I love the world. I love this magic system. It's a very different magic system. It's based on colors, and different people can cast different colors and use the colors around them to create different magic, and each color has a different power and strength, and the prism is someone who can control all of the powers, because it's most likely people can only control one, maybe two or three, and they are considered pretty powerful. But the thing is every time you use this magic, it ends up kind of draining your life force, and you can like go color mad, and it's this whole big thing. So this series is full of a lot of gray characters. There has been some talk about the author, you know, representing women in a not so nice light, I suppose, but honestly I didn't notice it until I started reading and listening to the reviews of it, and I was like, oh yeah, that did kind of happen. But I absolutely adore this series and really need to continue on and finally finish it. So moving into young adult fantasy, I do have to say the Arc of the Scythe by Neil Schusterman is one that I need to finish. I have read Scythe. I ended up listening to it on audiobook, devoured it, loved it so much. It was really gripping, and I just wanted to find out more and more. This is a dystopian society where humankind has basically defeated death, and the only people who die are ones that are decided by the Scythe, who are, you know, these group of people, and they ultimately kill you. So it's a pretty dark YA series. I've read the first one. I actually started Thunderhead, which is the second one. I'm kind of in the middle of the audiobook and definitely need to continue on. I'm kind of stuck and didn't pick it back up lately. I just haven't been in the mood for an audiobook, but I really do enjoy this world. It's so much darker and deeper than you think, and very politics heavy, and just really good. And I do have the Toll because my best friend Cassie ended up getting it for me for Christmas, so I definitely need to finish the rest of the series so I can get to this one and see what all the hype is about, because so many people loved this series. So the last book series that I need to finish is actually Duet by Marie Lu, and I read Warcross a couple years ago. I absolutely loved it and devoured it. It was just so different from what I had read. It seems like it's the YA kind of version of Ready Player One from what I've read of it. Really enjoyed it. It just kind of sucked me in, and I was just like flying through this book. I ended up picking up Wild Card very soon as it was released, and I haven't picked it up. And let me see, it was released in 2018. So I really need to get to this book and finish it. But unfortunately, I've heard some not so great things about the sequel to it, and I just haven't really had a motivation to read it. But when I went through all of the books that I need to finish, or the book series that I need to finish, this was one that I was like, oh my gosh, I really need to get to this and say that I have finished it, because hello, I only have one book and it's fairly short. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching my series that I need to complete. I have a ton of them and a lot of books, a lot of big books, and a lot of big fantasy books. So if you have read any of these or have any thoughts or opinions, I would love to chat about and talk about it in the comments down below. And I hope you have a great day and happy reading. Bye!